Checking, check.
Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear of that toxic cell. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic cell. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic cell. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic sound. Ring the bell of our ancestors where it's felt.
My boyka. Yes. What up? Rahubat. Bienvenido. Welcome everybody. For those in the future who's going to be watching this right now, I'm broadcasting this, and it's already 5:35. Probably people having dinner or whatever. But this is entitled YouTube News, episode 2, because I already did episode 1. This is episode 2. This is about the experiences. That some of the experiences that I'm having, especially at night or when I go and visit a lot of these podcasts on YouTube, to experience it and to engage, and see where I can share, as an ambassador, experimental, sharing certain information, sharing ways of how to deal with diplomacy and how to deal with different groups and stuff like that. So I come across different groups, Israelite groups, Moorish groups, the consciousness groups, and also, my brothers and sisters who are just hanging out on YouTube and having conversations, speaking about their experiences, especially a lot of brothers that been through the jail system, prison system, and they share some of their stories. Some interesting stories, a lot of, I grew up in the Bronx, so, I'm used to that. You hung down on the corner, you met so many different personalities and characters that were experiencing different things, get together in the corner and you'll start having dialogue and, of course, drinking that 40, smoking that blunt, going around the corner to the building and taking a bump of this or that, and coming to the corner and just, hanging out and sharing things and that's the way it is. Anybody know anything about hanging out in New York City or any cities, for Chicago cities, and I don't condone that. Let me tell you that much. That stuff about hanging out in the corners, my mother hated it, my family hated that. That wasn't the way that we were brought up, but when you move into certain neighborhoods and certain people move into those neighborhoods and that's the way this was a condition, that's the way they grew up, especially people coming from the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Because they got together in front of the bodega. You know what I'm saying? Some people were swinging stuff, and other people were just there to just hang out and meet people, and share their experience, and just be social. Like they said, shit the breeze. You know what I'm saying? Shit in the breeze and stuff like that. But I hope this music ain't too loud. So let me come on screen here. No, give me 1 second. Yeah. And so well, I got on a podcast last night, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna mention some of those podcasts, but for the simple reason, I put a shout out to the Lions Den, and a shout out to the brothers there, the Israelite brothers there. Very interesting conversations. I mean, you gotta excuse the background noises. That's my son is watching, my 2-year-old, you know what I'm saying? But she's a handful, let me tell you. 2-year-old handful. Oh my. But anyway, so they were discussing a lot of things, and I noticed that this one brother that come on there. I think he's hosting the show certain days. A shout out to him. Much respect to baby Hebrew. Much respect to you, my brother. And but it seems like it's very, he engages a lot in politics, political statements he makes, and he tries to he definitely doesn't try, but what he does, he links it to biblical narratives and biblical quotes and stuff. And his partner, I forgot his partner, Jonathan Taylor, I believe his partner. I don't know their Israeli name, you know what I'm saying? But they say they come out of the ISUP, not the ISUP, I'm sorry, they come out of the One West camp, the original One West camp. And if anybody know anything about the original One West camp, it came out of Rabbi, I think Matthew Bentworth and them. They were originally known as the Moorish Zionists, and they were known as the Moorish Zionists, and they were also part of the whole Marcus Garvey movement. Marcus Garvey worked with them and invited them, you know what I'm saying, because he wanted to put all these organizations together for one common cause, and that is for the economic and the movement back to Africa, and the economic, you know what I'm saying, and the UNIA, you know what I'm saying, with Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying. So they were part of that, but then a rift happened and they separated. But I don't have it here, like I said. My laptop had all those photos, and I have a lot of photos from the Moorish Zionists, and the pictures that they took back then in front of the temple and stuff like that. Interesting, the dress, and also it says it right there, Moorish Zionist temple, so and so and so. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the One West camp come from. You know what I'm saying? One West. One West, I believe, was the address up there in Harlem. Still to this day, ISUPK is there in Harlem. They also come out of that camp. So a lot of organized groups splinter off from One West. And I don't know what's their commonality in terms of their doctrine, you know what I'm saying? But it seems sometimes they have a little disagreement amongst some of the tactic that they use, and the way that they continue to organize themselves. And also you find them a lot in the streets of New York, you know what I'm saying. Growing up, when I was in the Ansar Law School, I did find a lot of them at 42nd Street. There was a lot of them brothers there, and their style is very, very, very blunt, you know what I'm saying. They're out there, reading biblical quotes and warning people about the calamities that's going to happen, and so and so and so. That's their tactic, you know what I'm saying. That's how they get down, you know what I'm saying. They were out there and they were like, yeah, and a lot of times the yelling. I kind of like frown on the yelling. Hold on 1 second. Peace, Irving. Yes, Rahubat, my brother Irving. And so a lot of times those tactics to me, because I was also out there propagating as an Ansar law, but we wasn't the type to go into the corner and shout and yell at the people. We were just strictly propagating and selling books, incense, and oil. And yes, we carried the Bible and the Quran. Anybody wanted to engage with us, and then we will, engage with them. But never that thing about, organizing ourselves in a group, getting into the corner and yelling at the people, yelling, hey, this and that, and with the bullhorn. That type of propagation to me, one thing that makes a lot of sense that Panabayanan, one of the axiom was like, because you yell does not make you right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're yelling, and this and that does not make you right. You know what I'm saying? That does not make you knowledgeable. That does not make you right at all. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? That's how our school of thought. So them two brothers, they got their school of thought. Like they said, yeah, we go out in two. But and shout out to my brother Hansu Aminway. He also appeared. And I was about to make that statement too. I said, yeah, we also come out in two. I'm here. I'm from a specific school. Also, Hansu's from that school too. So just like we go out in twos, and that's biblical. That's biblical. That's in Revelations, I believe. And when it comes to propagating, I sent you out in twos, to the world. But Rahul back. So a lot of things were said. You know what I'm saying? What was so funny, and I didn't say because I didn't want to. I could have cracked the joke, because they were talking about one day we're gonna rule the earth. We're supposed to rule the earth, and I was like, what do you mean by ruling the earth? Because the earth comprised of different nations. You got the Chinese, you got Russia, you got all these different nations. So you want to rule over them? Is that what you're saying? We're gonna rule. You know what that reminds me of? Pinky and the Brain. Just to be humorous. Pinky and the Brain. That's what that is. I'm gonna rule the world, rule the earth. You know what I'm saying? That type of. I don't think that the Bible. I don't think that Revelations, the Bible, and the coming of the Jerusalem, the kingdom, is meant for that, to rule the earth. I think it's just meant to have your nation, to build your nation, a civilization, your nation. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is sovereignty and autonomy. Being autonomous and sovereignty has nothing to do with ruling the earth. You know what I'm saying? It's liberation for certain laws, certain things that you want to accomplish in law. And I tell them, what do you mean by power? Also, when you talk about, we don't have the power. You have the power to do many things. You have the power to change your life, to renew things. You have a lot of powers within you. And like I said, you have to first, within your household, within yourself, your house, and then spreading out to your tribe, your community, to change things, you know what I'm saying? And to, and work with that instead of like thinking like, we're going to rule the earth, rule the world, power, we need power to rule the world. To me, I'm sorry, brothers, that to me doesn't sound, it's just not logical. It's just not logical at all. And I think, yeah, there were groups that came up and they're like, rule the world. You know what I'm saying? Not even the United Nations gets down like that. It's not about ruling the world. It's about, commerce for them. At the end of the day, it's about giving certain summit and opportunities for certain nations to voice themselves and so on, so and so. You know what I'm saying? So they have their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how it was first started, the first start of it, the origin of it. But a lot of times, things could change, and I'm not here to propagate that or to condone it or anything. I just respect that. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the United States ruling the earth, they said that Teddy, I believe it was Teddy Roosevelt. They call him the bear, and there's a cartouche of him, with his foot on the Western Hemisphere in a police uniform, and yeah, to police the world. You know what I'm saying? United States became that police of the world, but it wasn't about ruling the earth at all, because you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's narcissistic. That's, to me, I don't know. This ruling the earth thing, to me, doesn't add up at all. You know what I'm saying? We have to respect each other. We have to respect other nations. We have to respect each other. It's about humanity. You know what I'm saying? And respecting, those boundaries, and respecting their culture. And again, if you have inventions and industries that is bettering your community, your nations, and you want to share it with another nation, so hey, listen, this is the way we're doing it, and this is beneficial for us. We want to share that with you. That's commerce. That's trade. We want to share with you this industry so as to help You know what I'm saying? To because at the end of the day, like I told him, at the end of the day, it's about natural nature. Natural nature. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it says, "Oh no, God is above natural nature," and I'm like, "What? God, in lack of a better term, is nature." You know, the creator is the creation. The creation is the creator within itself, like the seed. You know, everything that the seeds, everything that the plant, everything became was in the seed, in that seed, and then it sprouted out, right? You know, it's yeah, Big Joe. Yes, I'm 60 years old, my brother. Born in 1961. Yes, my brother. And so, the I just found it kind of strange on that platform, that podcast, so, but no disrespect, I tried to just ask questions to the brother. I tried to get clarity from him, and like, what do you actually mean? And hopefully that he can see it, like, yo, if you're going to use biblical tense, you're going to use those laws, principles, and stuff, that's for your nation. That's for your nation. That's for your tribe, your nation, your family, yourself. Live by those principles. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that you're gonna influence the whole world on that, because the Chinese got their ways. They got their laws and their principles. They have their deities. The different nations have their own deities, bro. And you know what I'm saying? So that's got to be respected. And shout out to my brother Yankee, Vic, when he said, there's 3,000 gods, deities around the earth. There's a lot of deities. Even when you read the Bible, there is many deities mentioned in the Bible. You just have to follow that line of thought. You really have to study, and you really have to break things down, and open up your mind and use reason and get to see it. And then there are many here that have also ideas and concept and did the study, experience, and everything. You can learn from them. You can learn from anybody. Like I said, I know what I know, but I always seek to know that which I don't know. So I'm always learning. And I do learn from these brothers. Even they coming out with this narrative, you know what I'm saying, in the lines end, but I still able to extract certain things, because I'm learning certain characters, and I'm learning what are they lacking, and at the same time I'm seeing what are their strengths. A lot of these brothers become very good speakers. They feel they have the articulation, they have the the determination, the articulation, right, and they have the voice, right, but they're lacking the knowledge and the wisdom there. They're not their perspective can be, their perspective had to be tweaked a little. You know what I'm saying? If they, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I don't lean towards that conspiracy thing. I don't think that there's actually a conspiracy going on, people trying to stop certain information to get out. No, I don't think that's going on, because at the end of the day, it's all about commerce and stuff. And there, and and a lot of these skincare routine. I know it's genetics, my brother. It's genetics. It's I do drink. I was doing a lot of sea moss. I just I don't eat out as much, and I try to keep a youthful mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I listen, and that deals also with listening to the music that I grew up with. Like the doo-wop stylistics, stuff like that. And I try to listen to that type of music that I vibe with when I was young, that kind of like shaped my character and personality, because music can do that. Those lyrics, Stevie Wonder, because that's what I try to do. You know what I'm saying? And I try also to meditate, to be joyful, humorous and stuff like that. That's all that is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And also genetics, it runs in my family. Like with my grandfather, it runs in my family. We don't age much. You look at my mother's 81 years old, and you look at her, you'll be like, wow, she looks like she's 60 years old, or even younger than that. She don't age. We don't age for some reason. A lot of times also the way you think, people age, because there's so much thinking and invested so much in time. Time is an ager, but you can transcend that. Time it's eternal, but time becomes something that is just, a measure, and is to relate, space and matter. But when you start getting into the to doctrine, and ideas like that, the nature of nature, yeah, it keeps you young. It's a mindset. Youth is also a mentality. It's a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's all that is. But yeah, getting back to my discussion. So, that's one of the experiences in the YouTube that I see. I've been going a lot on the lines then and just trying to listen and learn. Because a lot of time, a lot of things are thrown out there, and I'm like, wow. I don't mean to disrespect anybody. I don't mean to challenge anybody, anything like that. I just want clarification. Let's validate clarification. And then I want to know why are you thinking like that? What's the purpose of that? How is that going to be beneficial for your people, for your family? How is that? You know what I'm saying? I just want the best for you, brother. I just want the best for all my brothers and sisters out there. So also, I'm dealing with Sarnetta. I got on there, and I offer, my forgiveness, and if any, and I try also, and I like to say, to everyone out there, yeah, I'm just sharing, things, and engaging in this fourth industrial revolution, this platform stream, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I like to say that, forgive me if I made anybody feel different, because of what I come out with. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to challenge anybody. I don't want to challenge anybody. I don't want to change. Well, time has changed. Life has changed, but all I want is to share things to make sure, am I on the right track? Why if everybody's thinking a certain way and I'm thinking this way, I'm like, am I on the right track? Am I the only one? You know what I'm saying? You know, but then if I want to communicate with you and gain that affinity, I got to establish some reality. You know what I'm saying? I got to come to reality. We got to come to reality. And a lot of times that is by defining. Define when you speak and you use certain words, certain terms, you got to define it and explain it. I need to know how you're defining it. I need to know your definitions of it and your explanation of it. And then I need to know, did you experience this? Did you grow up like this? Did you experience it? Did you experiment? Did you at one time, we're going to talk about drugs. Did you experiment with drugs at one time as a youth? You know what I'm saying? What did you experience with that? You know what I'm saying? What can we learn from those experiences? Because you can learn a lot from experiences and experimentation, What did you experience? So that's all I wanted to say about that. And with the Sonetta, he definitely brings a lot of different viewpoints there. He had the Commission Adept there and a lot of stuff that he broke down. I spoke about that. Jabari gets on there and all bunch of stuff, And like I said, I didn't, forgive me, Sonetta and Jabari, if I made you feel different in any way, but I'm just, for one, I just need to know, saying where you at, clarification. And I need to know across the board, everything, consider everything across the board. I don't want no misinformation, no omitted data. You know what I'm saying? No out of time sequence. I want to see everything in order, because that's the power that we have to take the formless. Hey, Christine Barrios. I got family that are from Barrios, from Queens, Barrios. Oh wow, man! Shout out to you, Christine. Blessings to you. So I just want to know, what I'm saying. If I'm thinking like this, and I'm not the only one, because I come together with a certain school of thought and a couple of brothers, and we think the same. A lot of people that comes on my chat and my podcast and stuff like that, they, we converse sometimes. They think just like me, you know what I'm saying? But they, I'm just sharing it. I'm articulating it a certain way, and they appreciate that, even though I'm not a very profound and strong motivational speaker. I did take communication at NYU. I did learn communication, where you have to go on the front of the class on a podium, and you have to prepare a speech, and you have to speak, and they're looking at your gestures. They're looking at your how you, giving the professor giving you points how to use your hands, and how intensity. And also we study about the transcendental self. That part, when you're speaking, that people see, they sense even though they're listening to you and they're seeing you, but they're sensing something about you because the vibrations and frequencies are being exchanged, and that's the subtle world, the subtle being. And pretty soon I'm going to do a podcast about that. We're going to really go intensity, really intense into that, about that subtle, transcendental, that subtle body we have, like what they call the etheric body. You know what I'm saying? So so in Sonetta, shout out to Sonetta, and again, offer my forgiveness. Hector Jabari, Jabari knows too. Not even, I mean, my brother Hunsu, I support him, and like I said, he come from the same school. I support him. He's got his method, his tactic, and what he wants to do, and what they discuss and what they say. If I'm listening, it's not that I'm engaged in it, but I'm listening, and I'm making sure that I'm able to interject and to put something in there that's gonna balance things out. You know what I'm saying? Balance things out. So, I never call anybody any names out of who their characters. I know I don't do things like that and stuff like that. Now, speaking about a lot of other podcasts, now that Christina's here, now a shout out to my brother K Solo. I love that brother so much. He's the real of the real of the realists. I hung out with a lot of people like K Solo. That character in the Bronx, in the corner, in the streets, you know what I'm saying, when we were involved in that world. That's my brother at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And I know where he's coming from, you know what I'm saying? I might not do the things he does, and I might agree to a lot of the things that, his character and stuff like that. But hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? That he's being himself. And I applaud that. And I love when people are themselves. Damn, I'm thirsty here. When people are themselves, to me, that resonates. That's the most important thing that you can do, is be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to him. Yesterday we had a little problem there on his podcast because a lot of trolls, a lot of people getting on these podcasts with and I know about that. When he said you don't know too much about pop culture. Listen, man, I've been online on the computer since AOL. Let me tell you something. When the computer was 286, then it went to 386, then it went to 486, and on and on. Then into chips, quantum chips and Pentium, Intel. And bro, I've been navigating through the computer ever since back. I remember when the small little Mac with the keyboard that came together with the keyboard back then in the late 80s, brother. And my brother used to build computers. Jamal, shout out to Jamal Hadam Head. He used to build computers, so bro, I knew about computers. And when I went to NYU, you had to use computers in the library, you know what I'm saying? Because there were microfiche and there were books that was in the library, and DOS, before they had pictures, the DOS, it was all written works. So, bro, I know a lot about computers. And then in today's day and time, you got this whole thing about cloud chasing and trolls. People make these false accounts and stuff. And I'm learning to YouTube through the back end of YouTube about the YouTube studios, about how people could become your owners of your podcast, and they can manipulate your podcast. What was strange about the chat in K Solo's podcast, where there was somebody in that podcast that didn't even appear in the chat, but was blocking people, but who was not in the chat. And I was like, yo, how can that be? And then when they time me out, it says I'm timed out by the owner. And when I approach, say Solo about it, he says it wasn't me. Somebody, but he knows what he has to do in order to rectify that. But it was chaos, you know what I'm saying? But that's the YouTube world, the trolls and stuff like that, people with these false accounts, and and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. I'm like, yo, I don't engage like that. That's not, I just don't, I don't know. I don't engage in that. You know what I'm saying? But it happens. I just don't engage in that. I feel, there are people out there that, especially a lot of geeks and they'll sit in their computer behind their mouse and their keyboards, and they'll get out there, and it's fun for them. It's humorous. And then especially if you do something to embarrass that person online, and that person has that type of skill, they could come back at you, bro, and they can cause you problems. And I think that's what happened to K Solo. I already explained to him, bro, you must have offended somebody. You must have did something, You know what I'm saying? And also YouTube can also they have people that sits in the cubicles, monitor stuff and monitor, and sometimes they give you good advices and they help you in your podcast, to expand your podcast. But sometimes when they see something that they don't like, they're going to do things that are going to be, they're going to sabotage your stuff, because they want to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? So they want to sabotage your stuff. So yeah, you got to keep it civil, keep it, you know, keep it civil, keep it right. At the same time, have fun. It's not, you don't take life so serious. You got to have fun. I like to have fun, even on a podcast, but I like to have fun. Simple as that. Maybe later on, when I like to do it for real, when the time, I like to do it spontaneously. Yeah, I might crack a joke here. I might say this and this and there and being humorous, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to. You can't take life so serious. Like my mother said, no coito a pecho. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Christine, they kept blocking you. I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, things like that. And I think also, people don't like when you speak about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Especially in YouTube, whatever. Like we have mentioned the name Aleister Crowley, and it's all over the Wikipedia. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But and I was gonna mention even on the album cover of the Beatles, the Yellow Submarine, the Beatles, the Aleister Crowley pictures there. It's memes is there, right? You know what I'm saying? That was a philosophy, a doctrine that people read up on, like celebrities like Jay-Z. So, but a lot of people don't like speaking about those things, and a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, don't speak about those things because they're just gonna expose certain people. But listen, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Everything is being exposed, and that's in Wikipedia. You can read about it. You know what I'm saying? Just to know, it was just I wanted to do it in terms of entertainment, but I guess K Solo found it kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, we can make it entertaining. We can make it humorous, fun, entertaining. Hey, look, this is out there, blah 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 blah, blah. And that's it. That's it. It's not meant to change people's mind or anything. It's just to entertain them. A lot of times I get, oh, I did not know that. Very interesting. Like when I did the whole thing on Freeman. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. But that's that's good. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. But anyway, so yeah, that's a couple of shout out to Quinn also. I can't wait when he's gonna go and show New York and show Brooklyn and all that. I haven't been in New York in a long time. So that'll be interesting to see how neighborhoods have changed. When I grew up in New York in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then in the 90s, I left in 94, I believe. Yeah, I left in 94, New York. But I visit a few times when I did a concert there with Tito Puente Jr. We played in La Barbat and we played in Arlene Grocery in the Village. So we play a couple of concerts out there in New York. And I want to go down there, visit New York, I got an auntie that lives in Red Hook, who was in the hospital with COVID. She's 85 years old, bless her heart, but she's doing pretty well now. I want to go visit her in Red Hook. And I want to go also to Harlem, visit Sarnetta, visit, that strip in Harlem. But I know about it. I used to go there years ago. So I like to see how things change and what's going on. Saying revisit certain neighborhoods and say like, oh yeah, reminisce. Hey, I used to walk there. I used to hang out here. Oh wow, this happened here. This happened. You know what I'm saying? Reminisce. You was 14 in 1994. Wow. Yeah. I don't know how. Well, I'm born in 61, so I was like 30 something years old. Yeah, when I left. Yeah, I was 30 something years old when I left. I graduated out of high school when I was 17 in 1979. Went down straight to NYU on a scholarship. 17 years old, I was already at NYU, and no summer break. I went through the summer classes to prepare me for the next semester. Yeah. And then I went to the Ansar University at the same time. So I was in two different type of universities. You know what I'm saying? Two different types, of university, two different, and that's interesting because that's two different size, two different. Wow. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I was getting knowledge and curriculums from this. Whoa. Wow, from traditional university and from an embassy. So, bro, very interesting. Yeah. I went to Evander Child High School, Christine. I graduated at Evander Childs. Yeah. Junior high school, I went to a private school, a 7-day Adventist school, very private, called Clinton. And then from there, we moved up north, and I went to Evander Child, LaGuardia High School. Yes, yes, I know LaGuardia High School. Yes. I had a lot of friends that went to Stevenson, you know. Matter of fact, when I was at Evander, and and I was playing music up there in that area. Most of the I recorded the first hip hop record with the Funky Four Plus One More, and most of the Funky Four Plus One More, I think 2 or 3 of them went to Stevenson High School. And I think DJ Barron also went to Stevenson High School. Yeah, I think that's around East Fremont, or I don't know where that Stevenson High School was. I remember going there we did a concert there, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I think I'm gonna have to leave because I think my granddaughter's driving my son a little crazy out there. You know how that is. But anyway, I probably might come on later on. Maybe when this girl fall out, I might come on here. I'm gonna think about something to bring to the table. I'm reading that book, Spiritual Nutrition. Very interesting because it speaks about, you see, and I want to bring that into the lines then too, because a lot of the Israelite brothers don't understand that there is a mystical school in Judaism. They call it Kabbalah, and when it deals with the Hindus call it Kundalini, the Kemetic call it Sekum, we call it Sekum in Wapo, but in Judaism, in the Israelite, they call it Shekhinah. Shekhinah is those centers. And so this book is about nutrition and how it can amplify that subtle body, your etheric body, that subtle body, certain chemicals, you know what I'm saying? And how to help taking that etheric force into your body. That's the energy that drives your body. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me get out of here. All in blessings to you. I love you all. Thank you all for coming here. Christina, Big Joe, Irving. Man, shout out to you. Nobody on Facebook, and I can't see my LinkedIn, but I'll try to get into my LinkedIn on the next podcast. And maybe later on, I'm going to think about something, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm going to probably come on and do, and do something on some type of subject. Okay. Peace and blessings to you.